think people should be coming in here. All right. We will give this just a second for everybody who just joined. I know there's a couple people still trickling in. All right. All right. Well, we will go ahead and get started. We are waiting on one person having a issue getting on, but she'll be here any minute. First off, we want to say thank you to everybody who is here today. We're glad that there was, excitement and participation with, this event and getting people to come and check out some of the work we've been doing. I for those of you who don't know me, I'm Carson Firestone. I'm the Senior Development Manager here at Clean Fuels Ohio, and I have been kind of helping some of these students with this project. So Clean Fuels Ohio has started partnering with the sustainability program over at Ohio State and their industry immersion program. So we have had an awesome group of interns here putting together this project. They've absolutely crushed it out of the park here with us. We can't speak highly enough of that. So we wanted to kind of showcase that and show off some of the work they've done and let them put together this event for us. We're hoping that it's very helpful to a lot of people and able to kind of shed some light on some of the new changes in the space. But without anything else, I'll go ahead and let them introduce ourselves. I'm sure people will trickle in here as we get going. Like I said, one of them is going to be a little behind, just having an issue getting logged on, but we'll get here in here as soon as possible. But we'll go ahead and get started, and then I'll turn it over to them.
All right, I can get started. Hi, everyone. I'm Abby Bright. As Carson told you guys, we're all EEDS students at OSU, soon to be graduated. So we just have a little bit of policy and incentive information for you guys. Hopefully you'll find this useful as companies that are looking to prioritize alternative fuel use. This is our roadmap for today. So we're going to do a bit of an introduction of ourselves and then talk about electric vehicle policy and incentives, fleet analysis breakdown, alternative fuel policies and incentives, and then we have a bit more information and a wrap up. As I told you guys, I'm Abby Bright, and then Sydney, Lily, and Jackson are also on our team. Sydney and Jackson, I don't know if you guys want to introduce yourselves quick.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sydney. I'm actually a third year, so I won't be graduating this year. Everybody else is a senior, but yeah, we're all in the same major, so studying like environmental economics and business.
Yep, I'm Jackson. My focus is more on the economic side of development, but yeah, a lot of similar stuff.
All right, so we're gonna move into some electric policies. Lily put this stuff together. She'll be joining us in hopefully a minute or so, so she'll be able to talk on it a bit more in depth. But these are just some of the main policies that are required for if you're using alternative fuel use in the EV world. Again, hopefully she will be on to better talk about this. I'm going to move through the electric section really quickly, and then she will circle back once she hops on.
So we can come back to that section once she's here.
Okay.
So I can jump into the fleet analysis first. This pertains to electric because this is a service that Clean Fuels Ohio offers where they can tell you the best way to electrify your fleet and make it the most economically efficient for you. So just in general, they're going to use the key performance indicators of your current fleet or KPIs to calculate your total cost of ownership or TCO once you actually transition. So throughout the process, they're going to help you find the best replacements for your fleet vehicles, calculate how much money is going to be lost or saved throughout the process, determine which vehicles should actually be replaced and in which order would be best. And then they can also do battery analysis based on the current miles driven in your fleet now. So moving on, we've got a little roadmap to just give you a visual of how the process looks if you're going to do a fleet analysis. So the first step there on the left is going to be to meet with Clean Fuels Ohio and establish a goal. The goal is always going to involve some sort of electrification analysis, but maybe you also want to learn more about battery information or charging infrastructure or things like that. And then you'll also discuss in this meeting the type of fleet that you currently have. So if you have like heavy trucks or something, and then the specific focuses of the transition. So like I said, it's always going to involve electrification, but maybe you want only electric vehicles, or maybe you want hybrids as well, or something like that. The next step then is going to be that Clean Fuels is going to do an analysis of the KPIs of your current fleet. So this is going to be the make and model of the vehicle, the year of the vehicle, the current fuel type that's being used, how much of that fuel is being used, how many miles are being driven, etc. And then in general, they're going to calculate how much money is currently being spent on fuel and your current fleet. And then after that, you'll meet again to go over any needed clarification or get any questions answered, check in where you're at right now. And then Clean Fuels is going to do the TCO or total cost of ownership analysis, where they'll show your savings over 10 years and analyze the best replacements for your vehicles. So this is where they're going to find the best options for you and best replacements for your vehicles, and then see how much money you would need to invest, how much you would save overall if you were to transition. During this, they're also going to figure out whether you should transition the vehicle, if it's going to be economically efficient for you to do that, and then what order would be best to replace your vehicles in. And then this is also the stage where they'll do the battery analysis. So for example, how long will it take to reach a certain level of charge based on the miles that are currently being driven. And then after that, you'll meet one more time to go over everything and check in, get any questions answered. And then lastly, you'll get an executive summary of the findings throughout the entire process.
Yeah,
Taki,
so
we'll go ahead and do a question section at the end just for I'll make sure I check the chat for anything, but feel free to drop those in, but we'll have time. We'll do that at the end with everything.
yeah, so as you guys know, electric is, the main alternative fuel that is currently in use and probably what most of you guys mainly use. But so there's some more policies and incentives that apply only to electric, but we wanted to kind of go through things that apply to different alternative fuels. So you go to the next one. Yeah, so for what qualifies as an alternative fuel, you guys probably know this, but the U.S. Department of Energy defines alternative fuel as these things. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the main ones being electric, propane, biodiesel, natural gas, and hydrogen. And then we have some federal incentives we're going to go over. So these are kind of some bigger ones. So the IRS has the ability to deem any alternative fuel use as non-taxable. And so it's kind of subjective and up to different factors, but common examples of what would maybe qualify as non-taxable would be school bus use, use by nonprofit educational organizations, and then certain inner city and local buses can qualify for this as well. So it'd definitely be worth looking into if that's something that you have in your organization or city. And then we have the 30C tax credit. And so this is a credit that's available to businesses and individuals that place a qualified fueling property into service. And so it's a 6% tax credit with the max credit of 100,000 for each item of property. And then there's also an additional 30% credit eligible for different businesses that meet certain requirements, which we have more information on in the handout that we sent out. And then the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant Program is a huge offering for state, local governments, territories. Basically, it's for the development and implementation of plans for reducing greenhouse gases, greenhouse gas emissions. And so if you're a, government entity or, yeah, that's definitely something to look into. And it's something that could kind of give a lot of money back and that you could put into, reducing that greenhouse gas emissions through alternative fuels. So I think Sydney's going to go over some more.
Yep, I've got a couple more. So we also have the clean fuel production credit. This is not going to start until January 1st of 2025, so that's something to note. But these are just tax credits offered by the Treasury Department for the production and sale of low emission transportation fuels. So the credit is for 20 cents per gallon, but if you satisfy the prevailing wage and apprenticeship requirements, the credit is employed in construction, alteration, or repair no less than the applicable prevailing wage rates, and then also employ apprentices from registered apprenticeship programs for a certain number of hours. For more information about those requirements, you can visit the IRS's website. But yeah, that's if you meet those requirements, you can get a greater credit for this. And then for any taxable year, the production credit is equal to the applicable credit amount per gallon multiplied by the fuel's carbon dioxide emissions factor. And then next we've got the Clean School Bus Program, which provides funding to eligible applicants for the replacement of existing school buses with clean alternative fuel school buses or also zero emission buses. Through this program, the EPA can actually award up to 100% of the cost of the replacement bus, charging equipment, or fueling infrastructure. So it's a great opportunity. Eligible applicants would be school districts, state and local government programs, federally recognized Indian tribes, nonprofit organizations, and eligible contractors, but noting that high-need educational institutions are prioritized for this program. So, and then you can visit this link on these slides for more information about this program. And then we've got one last federal alternative fuel incentive, which is just the alternative fuel excise tax credit. This was supposed to expire in December of 2021, but it's been extended through the rest of this year. And it's just a credit of 50 cents per gallon for any alternative fuel that's sold for use or used as fuel to operate any motor vehicle. Moving into some state of Ohio alternative fuel incentives. First, we've got the alternative fuel vehicle emissions inspection exemption, which is just exactly what it sounds like. It's just an exemption from state motor vehicle emissions inspections. One caveat is that you do have to do a one-time verification before you can be eligible for this, but after that, you're good. And then also that eligible vehicles must be powered exclusively by propane, natural gas, or electricity. So that's another important thing to note. And then again, more information at this link. Next, we've got medium and heavy duty emissions reductions grants, which are just grants offered by the OEPA for replacing or repowering eligible vehicles. So eligible on-road vehicles are going to include class 4-8 trucks or school shuttle or public transit buses. And then off-road vehicles are going to be things like airport ground support equipment, ferries, forklifts, port cargo handling equipment, freight switcher locomotives. So if you've got any of those are eligible as well. And then eligible products may also include alternative fuel infrastructure only if the applicant conducts a site assessment first. Next is the natural gas vehicle and electric vehicle weight exemption. Again, this one's really straightforward. It's just a weight exemption for natural gas vehicles and electric vehicles. You can exceed that by 2,000 pounds. The only thing is that it's not applicable on the interstate system or highways, roads, or bridges subject to max weight restrictions. And then the last state alternative fuel incentive we have is the Diesel Emissions Reduction Grant Program, or DERG. These are also grants offered by the OEPA, and these are for projects that replace specifically diesel public transit buses. One important thing with this is that to be eligible, you have to have a minimum funding match of 20% from non-state and non-federal sources. But you can look at the DERG website here. Again, this is a hyperlink, so you can visit these slides to access this information, and ineligible costs, the application process, things like that.
All right, I think we are going to circle back to electric now and talk to you guys a little bit about all the EV incentives that are available. Lily is going to take that over.
All right. So talking about electricity, we have, first off, right off the bat, we've got our policies. And they aren't really they don't have a ton to do with getting money back or anything. It's just kind of general policies that are good to know about electric vehicles in Ohio. First of all, Ohio House Bill 23 and also Revised Code 4503.1 have to pay a $200 fee. Plug-in hybrids must pay $150, and then hybrid electrics must pay $100. And then we have the Ohio Public Utilities Commission, which just outlines the public utility definition for electric vehicle chargers and states that any person, firm, corporation, or organization that is supplying electric vehicle charging services are not allowed to be defined as an electric light company. Their sole purpose is for electric vehicle charging. And then Ohio House Bill 201, outlaws sale restrictions on vehicles based on power source. This was Governor Mike DeWine. He put in place this House bill saying that basically the state government cannot outlaw vehicles being brought in for the government based on their emissions. And then next slide, we've got some incentives. We've got the state of Ohio electric incentives. There aren't a ton specifically for the state of Ohio. We'll get to more incentives federally. However, the Firelands Electric Cooperative Rebate is offering $250 to customers that install level 2 charging stations at your homes or businesses. And then all a level 2 charging station is just a station that has more capacity to provide more power to the vehicle than a level 1 station. So it's just a faster charger. The disclaimer, the rebate budget is limited. So the offer will end when the funds are depleted or when they decide they're going to just end the rebate altogether. And then we do have a maximum of 2 chargers that you can get this rebate for residential, or 6 chargers commercially. So there is also a limit on how many you can claim. And then we have our federal incentives. We have the commercial EV and fuel cell EV tax credit, which is available to businesses and tax exempt organizations for the purchase of new EVs and fuel cell EVs. Rates are different. You get a 15% off purchase for plug-in hybrids, 30% for EVs, and for fuel cell EVs. There is also a disclaimer with this. The maximum tax credits cannot exceed $7,500 for vehicles that are under 1,400 pounds, and $40,000 for vehicles above 1,400 pounds. And then businesses cannot combine this tax credit with the clean vehicle tax credit, unfortunately. And then this next one is the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Formula Program, or NEVI. The NEVI just provides state funding to strategically deploy chargers along FHWA alternative fueling corridors. So it just means that they are trying to provide electric vehicle charging along those that the United States government has deemed alternative fueling corridors along highways. And then they also offer up to 80% of funding for eligible projects that they deem are eligible, including acquisition and installation, proper operation and maintenance, and then long-term data sharing, just to try to further the technology. And allow for open access payments. So it cannot be like a private residence, cannot be a private business. It has to be open to everybody. And then finally, we have the Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Program, or the CFI. This one is a little funkier because it is actually closed right now. They're no longer taking applications, and they are in the process of awarding funds. However, they did have 2022 and 2023 recipients. So this is one that's kind of on the lookout to see if they reopen it in the future. However, what it is, it's similar to NEVI in that they're trying to also strategically deploy EV charging throughout these corridors. But they're also working for alternate fueling infrastructure. And then there are two tracks. There's corridor charging and community charging. Corridor charging is, like I mentioned, along these alternative fueling corridors. And then community charging is based in they prioritize rural and low income areas where there aren't a lot of alternative fueling opportunities. And they both offer a total of $2.5 billion over 5 years. And so far, we have two projects that they have pushed through in Ohio. We have SOPEC, which is the Sustainable Ohio Public Energy Council, have awarded them $12.5 million to put in electric vehicle chargers from Athens to Dayton. And then we also have NOACA, which was awarded $15 million, and they are the Northeast Ohio area-wide coordinating agency. So that would be, like the name suggests, in Northeast Ohio. And then the next slide, we have the Electrification Coalition Funding Finder. This is just a great resource for anybody to use that is looking for money for any electric vehicle projects or fueling projects, or rebates, or any of the above. Just a good resource to find where you could get some money back or some money off.
All right, so I'm gonna make an attempt to tie everything back together for you guys and kind of give you an overview of the policies and incentives. So first off, we put together this policy overlay, so it talks about most of the policies that Lily, Jackson, and Sydney discussed, or for the most part, those that it might be hard to identify which fuel type is accessible and applicable to those credits and incentives. So just going down the list, commercial EV and fuel cell tax credit, it applies to electric and hydrogen. That one specifically, and several of the other ones, don't have. It is only those that are identified on this list. Some ones that have specific issues, I'll point out the alternative fuel excess tax credit. Biodiesel can be applied, but only in certain instances based on the makeup of the biodiesel. So all of this information's been collected from the Alternative Fuel Data Center, and I will provide you guys with that resource so that you can look more into that if you're interested. As Jackson mentioned earlier, for the IRS tax exemption, while it is applicable to natural gas, propane, and hydrogen, that one is pretty susceptible to subjectivity, meaning that it's very specific on what you're using in terms of equipment and how you're using it. So that one might not be applicable to every aspect of the natural gas, propane, and hydrogen use. And then for diesel emissions reduction grant, it's really similar to the school bus, clean school bus policy. The only difference is that hydrogen is accepted for the clean school bus policy and biodiesel is accepted for the diesel grant emissions, and also for the diesel grant emissions. That one is all public transportation, and the clean school bus is just clean school buses. But other than that, I hope that this resource can provide you guys with a better overview so that you have less work on your end in terms of looking into some of this stuff. Another thing we put together was an applicable incentives recommendation list. So based on the type of organization that you are, what incentives we discuss might be useful for you guys. The ones that overlap for all of them are in that bottom category at the bottom. This diagram just represents the recommendations for applicable incentives, and it is just an attempt to provide you guys with a better understanding of all of these. Some of them, depending on the specifics of your organization, might change, but I did make an attempt to only put the ones that would likely be applicable to 90% of the specific organizations that might lie within each of these regions. And then these are the resources. So that Alternative Fuels Data Center website and Clean Fuels Ohio homepage and Ohio government laws and administrative rules that Lily got some of her electric information from in Jackson as well. And then we just wanted to see if you guys had any questions for us. We're happy to answer anything. And if we can't get back to you right away, we're more than welcome or more than happy to get in contact with you later too and find those answers for you.
I know I saw a couple things pop up in the chat, and I think
Okay.
it should allow you guys to ask questions. I know Taki, you had one. Does it let you unmute yourself? And if not, put something in the chat and I will do it myself.
No, it does. It does.
Okay,
It does
perfect.
allow us.
Just making sure. I couldn't tell how I set it up.
Yeah, no, thank you. I just appreciate you guys working on this project. I think it's wonderful. I put the smiley in there that you could be consultants, but I think there's a very strong need out there in terms of knowledge and support and helping fleets move forward. So kudos to all of you. I'm sure you've learned a lot. I didn't know, like you were talking about the journey in terms of the fleet electrification study through CF Clean Fuels Ohio, I think. I don't know. I'm a member in Clean Fuels Ohio, but I can't say that I ever thought about leveraging you folks for a electrification study. So, I was interested in how that works because I know that there are some other states and nonprofits that offer it as a consultation to fleets to kind of help accelerate some of the adoption in the process.
Yeah, so I can actually jump in on that. So members get a discount on service. There is still a fee for it. But depending on your membership level, you'll get different, size discounts and things like that. And also based on the data you provide. So how much, pre-existing data there is about your fleet can help get an additional, because if you can provide us with tons of data and already ready to go info about your fleet that you want analyzed and studied, we will add lower costs to that as well. So there is a charge for it, but members do get a good discount on it.
Thank you.
Yep. I saw another person put a hand up. I couldn't. It
was
went
me.
away before. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm interested in trying to figure out how to do a fleet analysis to convert to CNG.
Mm-hmm.
So I currently have CNG vehicles. We are the landfill here at Franklin County. We produce the gas, we clean the gas, and we push it into the Columbia gas pipeline. And I want to build a CNG fueling station and convert the truck fleet to CNG. So I need help as far as what's available on building the infrastructure, if there's any help on purchasing the trucks and getting rid of diesels, or like, I guess the whole from start to finish. I'm in the infancy stage right now, but I currently run CNG vehicles.
Yeah. So there is a part of it. It's not always specific to electrification. We can do alternative fuels with the analysis. As far as the other details for that, we'd need to set up a call between, your team and ours, and we can walk through what that looks like as far as implementing infrastructure. But that would all be based on, kind of what they mentioned with setting up goals and, doing a meeting to analyze what you're looking for. But I'm happy to reach out once this is done, and I'd love, sit down and talk with you about that.
Yep, no, that'd be great. Because I've sent numerous emails in the past, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months, and was talking to a few people, but then it never went anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's like I said, we'd have to sit down and discuss, the specifics of what you're looking for. But once we did that, there's definitely a path, not just for electrification, but the analysis is looking at whatever the best options are.
Yeah, because then that way I'll be a closed loop system. I
Yeah.
make the gas, use the gas, everything.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is there anybody else who would like any questions? Trying to make sure here before anything pops up.
I do see one
Yeah,
in the
Dennis.
Q&A.
Let's see here. Plan. I am not sure. I don't know if that's something you guys know in the Q&A.
Yeah,
Tom?
I can jump in.
Okay, go ahead, Sydney.
I'm not sure if I fully understand what you're asking, but transitioning to natural gas is considered a clean fuel under some of the policies. So that's the information that's going to be in that policy overlay, like the transition to natural gas is what those policies are applicable for.
Cool. I don't know if that answers your question. Tom Bullock is our board president, for those of you who don't know. So I'll let him go ahead and next.
Hi, everybody. I just want to acknowledge the good work of the students here and Carson for hosting. But Abby, Sydney, Jackson, and Liliana, thank you for all your work to study and research these issues and to become the next generation of leaders in this field, which is going to be with us for years to come. When we look at how much shipping there is with retail being on spec, on order constantly, with all the business to business shipping that there is in our state and our economy. And then, of course, for those of us who are looking to lower or reduce the carbon emissions, that's an increasingly important piece of the pie chart. It sometimes is number one, it sometimes is number two, but it's always going to require our attention and our focus. There's also a bunch of innovation that's being unleashed in the economy now, thanks to CNG vehicles and a closed loop system. Dean, I think that's a fascinating project that you're working on and vision. And Ohio has her share of traditional automotive manufacturing. I know that there's talk in our state about trying to retain our traditional strength in automotive manufacture. And as the big auto producers, light duty vehicle producers, shift over to a good portion of their production to electric, where the state of Ohio wants to find our electric battery production and other component manufacturers. So this is going to be with us for a long time to come. So I'm excited about the partnership between Ohio State and other universities in Clean Fields, Ohio, to keep doing research to help our companies and our organizations make use of clean infrastructure and clean vehicles and clean fuels, and become the next generation that leads the way.
Thanks, Tom. We appreciate that. yeah, like I said, it's been a really, really good partnership. We have this group. There's actually another group working on another project as well, adding a lot of new parts to our website. So there should be a lot of new resources coming up very soon. So we've had a really, really good experience starting this program with them. So anybody else before I wrap up and let everybody go about this wonderful Wednesday?
Will the slide deck be emailed to us or anything?
Yes, it'll be posted on our website. A recording of this meeting will be on there as well, to our pages, and then I will send out an email with the slide deck and project stuff as well.
Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else? Hey, what's going on?
Hey guys, I appreciate this. I got in a little late, so I missed the first few minutes on it. Devo with Ace Taxi Cleveland, also Ace Transportation nonprofit. We've had traditionally propane and natural gas sponsored through your group and your organization in the past. We're really trying to get more involved in electric vehicles through our nonprofit. We found that we might be able to get some more access to funds. So I'm looking forward to seeing who we can talk to together and create some plans. I've got a lot of micro enterprise folks that participate with us, independent operators that we want to be able to facilitate adoption into this for long term. So if there's any strategy or capability, I'd really like to look at it. I've got 2 electric vehicles right now. I'm trying to do more, trying to get at least 10 to 20 vehicles and hopefully steamroll to 50 if we can get to it. So with charging infrastructure already available, I'm not so worried about putting charging on site as much. Although it would be good, but our priority is to see if we can get vehicles. So any direction there, we'd love to connect sooner than
Yeah,
later.
absolutely. That sounds exactly like something we do with the fleet analysis service. That's right up our alley. So again, that's something where, and it goes for anybody. We'd love to, send an email to myself, or anybody in the organization, and I can reach out as well. And we'd love to sit down at the meeting, just figure out what your goals are, like they mentioned in that roadmap. And then, take the first step and see what is, the most efficient way to go about that. Where do you guys want to go with it? What are your plans before that? So absolutely. Well, feel free to reach out to any of us and I'll connect you with Hannah Ruskin, who is our professional services manager and fleet analyst. She does a great job and we can sit down and see what that looks like.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Good work, guys.
Thank you. And thank you guys all for coming today. I know you had to take time out of your busy schedules. And I know most of your questions were probably geared toward Carson and Hannah for the fleet analysis. But if you do have anything that any of the 4 of us can help you with, Carson can get you in contact with us.
Absolutely. As long as there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But again, thanks everybody for being here. We're glad there was
Thank
such excitement and interest around the project. And like I said, feel free to reach out to me. You have my contact information through the invitation to this email or event, excuse me, as well as all of us are listed on our website as well. And I'm happy to get you in touch with either myself or whoever, or connect you guys with other people in our network, other members, organizations that might be of good help to you guys as well. So hopefully by the end of today, I'll get all this stuff put together and emailed out to you guys. Make sure everybody has all the information that was in this presentation. And again, we recorded everything, so that'll be up on our website as well. But thank you, everybody, and we appreciate you being here.
Great call. We look forward to the next one.
Thanks, Tom.
Great work, guys.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.